Hi everyone, my name is Haley and welcome back or welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I thought I would do a small book unhaul. I'm currently going through all of my books. I'm seeing what I want to keep and seeing what I don't want to keep when we are approaching the new year. I just realized there's a lot of things that I had on my shelves or in my closet that I just didn't want anymore, that I have no interest in reading anymore, or things that I have read and don't love enough to keep around. In this video, I'm just gonna go through and show you the titles that fall into any of those categories that I just said. These are just my opinions. Just because I haven't read these books or I didn't like them doesn't mean that you shouldn't like them either. If they're your favorite books, I'm really happy you enjoyed them. They just weren't for me, or I just have not gotten around to them. Also, I know in my previous video that I said I was going to be posting a reading vlog, but I haven't been reading as much as I would like to, and I figured that that video would be kind of boring. So hopefully in the second half of October I can get one up for you, and if not, I will definitely be posting an October wrap-up and talking about the books that I read and what I liked about them in detail. So if it's not a reading vlog, it will be a wrap-up where you will get my final thoughts on all of the titles that I read. So with that out of the way, let me show you the books that I am going to be getting rid of. So the first set of books is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I only have the first three. I'm pretty sure there's 4 of them, but I have Red Queen, Glass Sword, and King's Cage. I really enjoyed Red Queen when I read it. I think the first time I read it I was like in high school, either freshman or sophomore year. The second book I found was kind of boring, and the third book didn't really do it for me either, and I never bothered to finish the series. I've never itched to give it another try or actually complete it, and these have just been sitting in my closet for a few years now, and I just have no use for them anymore, so that is why I'm going to be getting rid of this series. Next, I'm going to be getting rid of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I have a whole box set of Harry Potter already, so I do not need this one, so I don't really have much to say other than that this is just a second copy and I do not need it. Alright, the next 2 books I'm going to be getting rid of is The Diabolic and the Empress by S.J. Kincaid. Can we just look? Why are these such different sizes? I don't understand. That is not a reason why I'm getting rid of these. I again read this in high school. I really enjoyed The Diabolic when I read it. And then I bought the second one, but I just never got around to reading it. And this was a few years ago at this point now, and I remember really enjoying this, but I don't remember much about it, and it's not pulling me back in to want to finish the series. The same thing with Red Queen. So if I really end up wanting to know what happens, I'll probably just look it up online. But I can't even remember the main character's name in this, so I just have no desire to reread it, and I think someone else can get a better use out of these than I can. Okay, the next book is The Secret Circle by L.J. Smith. I think my parents had bought this for me at a thrift shop. I did read a little bit of it, but I actually enjoyed the show a lot more, and I just never got around to finishing this. I'm pretty sure this is the same author of The Vampire Diaries, so if you've read that, this is kind of a similar vibe. I didn't know it was a series before I watched the TV show, so it was kind of hard for me to want to read this after I had watched it because I knew what happened. And I just had a lot of other things that I wanted to read before this and kind of forgot about it. And I just know I'm not going to get around to it, so that's why I'm getting rid of this one. Okay, the next book I'm getting rid of is Soundless by Rochelle Mead. I remember when this was super popular when it first came out. I do not remember when or how I got this, if I bought it or if I got it as a gift, I don't remember. The synopsis always sounded really interesting to me, but again, it's just something where the time to read it has come and gone, and I have no desire to pick this up anymore. I have so many books on my shelf and on my wish list that I really want to get to, and unfortunately this just isn't up there anymore. And I don't like to keep books if I know I'm not going to read them, because I know someone else can get way more use out of it than I will. Next we have Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall. If I'm being honest, I bought this because I thought it looked really pretty. I bought this a few years ago again. A lot of these books I purchased when I didn't really know exactly what I was looking for. I just went to the YA section and picked some things out. Again, I never got around to reading this, and it's in perfect condition, and I really just want to give it a better home, and I think this will be enjoyed by someone else. It's just not for me anymore. I think we've all been there where we have titles that we really wanted to get to, and then time goes by and our tastes develop or change, and these just aren't the things that interest us anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to, you know, have a change in your tastes, and it's good to let go of some things and give them a better home. So I really wish I did get around to this. Let me know if you read it and you enjoyed it, but I don't think I will be reading this. Alright, the next book is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Raasch, R-A-A-S-C-H. I'm not sure how to say that. I think, again, this is a book that I got in this same period of high school that I'm referring to. I'm pretty sure I had started this a couple of times, but I just couldn't get into it. And so I never finished it. I know it's a whole series, and I don't think I can tack on another series to read right now. I really want to move more into adult fantasy series, so I'm trying to not revert back into any series that I have that I know I probably won't finish, because I just don't want to put in more work for myself, and I've had this for years and haven't gotten around to it, so I am going to be getting rid of this. Okay, the next book on my list I'm actually still unsure of, but it is The Lost Future of Pepperharrow by Natasha Pulley. Can we just take a minute to admire how beautiful this is? When I bought this, I thought this was a standalone, but I'm pretty sure it's the sequel to The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, which I didn't know when I bought this. And I've heard good things about The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, but I've also heard that this is just not as good and it's not necessary. I haven't read the first one yet, so that's why I'm still on the fence about this, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the first one. For now, I'm just gonna put it in the undecided pile, but I thought I would throw it in here because I have not picked it up or picked up the first one, and I've had this for months now. So let me know if you've read the first one or if you've read this one and if it's worth it. Alright, next is Roommate by Soraya Wilson. I did this in a reading vlog, so if you would like to know my thoughts about this, you can go check out that video. I enjoyed this, but it was definitely not a favorite and not something I would read again. I think I gave it like a 3-star or a 3.5 star. It was just like, it was okay. It wasn't boring, but I wasn't really a big fan of the character development and just how the whole story went down. I think romance is always a fun read when it's not too serious of a topic or like any triggering subjects show up, which this is really just like a fun read, but wasn't my favorite, would not pick up again, and I don't really care to still own this. Alright, the next one is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I read this in the same reading vlog that I read Roommate, so again, if you want to know my thoughts, you can check out that vlog. I'm not getting rid of this because I didn't enjoy it. I actually really did like this, but this is definitely a book that you read one time because you already know what happens. While I thoroughly enjoyed it, this copy is a little bit beat up, and I don't really feel the need to own it. If I need to make space on my shelves, I feel like this isn't one that needs to be there. So if I end up wanting to own it again, I'll just buy a newer copy, because I did get this at, I think, Goodwill for like $2, which was such a steal, and I don't really care that it's not in the best condition. If I do end up wanting to own it again, I will just repurchase it, but I don't really see that happening. So just want to make space on my shelves and know I won't reread this, but still very much enjoyed. Alright, we are almost at the end now, but the next book is The Trouble with Hating You by Sanji Patel. I really wanted to like this, and I started it, but I do not like how it's set up. I don't like the writing style. It just, in the beginning, there's like a part where the main guy and his friends are talking about the main girl, and one of the friends just kind of goes into a monologue about how she's not like the girl that everyone thinks she is, and is very quick to protect her, which I can appreciate, but it kind of just felt really forced and thrown at you in the beginning, and it kind of just turned me off from the rest of the book. I've heard really great things about this, and I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't like it. And I understand I only read the beginning, but I just knew that I wasn't gonna enjoy it if I continued with it, so just not my favorite writing style. I'm just going to rehome it and hope that the next person that picks it up enjoys it. Okay, I feel like I'll either get yelled at for this, or people will agree with me and be like, oh, I'm glad someone else feels this way, but I am getting rid of Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, even with the black sprayed edges. It is such a beautiful book, but I haven't read it yet, and I honestly wasn't the biggest fan of the Grishaverse series, and I know everyone says Six of Crows is better, but I just have no desire to continue any books in that universe, so I am getting rid of this. I've had it for years, and I haven't read it yet. I just found myself getting irritated when I was reading the Grishaverse books. Like, when I was finishing it, I just wanted to get it over with, and I don't like that feeling when I'm reading of just wanting to finish something because I don't want to read it anymore. I watched the TV show already, and I know that the Six of Crows characters are obviously in it and the stories are kind of intertwined, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on that much. Again, if I really want to know what happens, I'll look it up. I think I'm just gonna not read any more of her Grishaverse books and give her newer adult fantasy Ninth House a try instead, and see if I have any better luck with that. Okay, I'm gonna scooch over here for a second because the last two books, they're technically like a DNF, but they're on my Kindle and I bought them, so I guess it's an unhaul. Because I'm not gonna keep reading them, I don't know. It's on my Kindle, so I can't really unhaul it. I can just delete it off of my library, but I'm gonna put them here. The first one is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I got this because I heard so many people talking about it. They said it was enemies to lovers, and I am a sucker for that, as you know. So I think, let me see if I can check how far I am. 48% of the way through. I'm on page 168 of 342. It's just very intense enemies for me. I don't know if I really like the relationship that is happening between the two characters and the way that they act towards each other. It's just very different than any other romance that I've read, and it's a little too much for me sometimes. I don't really care about any of the characters. I don't really care if they get together. I don't feel anything for them. Usually I really am rooting for the main characters, and I can sympathize with the person in the book that is made to be like the one that we're supposed to sympathize with, like the person who maybe comes from not so good of a family background or family life, or someone who is struggling and doesn't really open up too much, and you get to learn about the characters through the story and really sympathize and empathize with them and really want what's best for them. But I don't feel any of that for either of these characters, and it's kind of just irritating to read, so I am going to DNF and unhaul that from my library. And the last book is Tryst 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas. Again, this is on my Kindle. I'm 47% of the way through this one page. Okay, I can't figure out what page I'm on my Kindle, but I'm 47% of the way through, and everything that I didn't like about Punk 57 is like just elevated in this book. The bullying, the enemies to lovers is way too much for me. I just don't see how you could ever want to be with someone after they do some of these things to you. And I don't really like my romance to be that unrealistic anymore. I think when I was a teenager and, you know, this would be on Wattpad or something and I would eat this shit up, but that's just not who I am anymore. It makes me kind of uncomfortable to read about this and know that the main character is going to still end up with this person who is being so horrible to them. I mean, I'm assuming they end up together. If they don't, that's fantastic, but it's just crossing too many lines for me. And again, I feel nothing for either of these characters. I feel like if someone is so horrible to you, why should I want them to be with you? Like, I don't want them to be rewarded if they're being like this. And sometimes things just aren't justifiable with circumstances. Like, yeah, things can be rough in your life, but that doesn't give you an excuse to act this way. And I feel like this book is kind of stretching that line a little too thin for me, and I do not like that. Unhauling and DNFing, both of those books. Those were all of the books that I'm unhauling for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know there's not too many recent releases on this list because I am actually enjoying all the books that I have right now, and I do like to own a book for a while before I decide to unhaul it if I haven't read it. So I probably won't be doing another video like this for a while, but if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. If you see any books in here that you enjoyed, please let me know why and see if you can get me to read it and change my opinion. If you saw books in here that you also unhauled, please let me know why, if they're for the same reasons or different ones. I would love to know. Let me know what you want to see from me next time. If there's any types of videos that you would like to see from me that I haven't done yet, or if I have done them and you enjoyed them, let me know as well. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all reading amazing books, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!